Peace and blessings, people. I'm Dr. Bobby Price. Welcome to the channel, and today we're going to have a very interesting discussion. Today is going to be a little bit different because usually when I hit topics, it's something very specific. So I'm talking about your thyroid. I'm talking about your high blood pressure. I'm talking about a deficiency. I'm talking about an ailment. I'm talking about something very specific that most people can identify with, although it may be a smaller percentage of the population. But most people can say, all right, he's talking to me in this instance. Today is going to be a little bit different because today I'm talking to everybody, okay? And today's topic came from a space of me having the ability to have this channel and be blessed by you guys to follow me and finally realize what everybody has in common, okay? Whether they're healthy, unhealthy, have a condition they know about, don't have a condition they know about, or somebody in their family or their friend or their girlfriend has something that they're going through. No matter who you are, this is something that anybody can identify with. And I think is one of the most important factors when it comes to figuring out how healing truly works. And what I realize is most people struggle with health is because they struggle with this. Okay, some people can get healthy, but then can't keep the health. Okay, that is probably one of the most difficult things. I see people who struggle with weight loss. They can lose some weight, but then they get to that plateau and they stop and they're trying to figure out why. Or they lost a ton of weight and then all of a sudden they gained it all back. Today's subject is gonna tap into all of those things. Why you can't heal, why you can't stay healed. What is the secret sauce to that success, and why so many people fail at it? And most people fail at it because people will settle for treatment instead of creating a high standard for actual healing. And it's very difficult to get to healing. And this is why so many people quit before they actually get to that space. So this conversation is for everybody out there. It's so important. And in my opinion, it's one of the most important things this is one of the most important videos that I've ever done, bar none. It doesn't matter which age group you're in. It's one of the most important videos. And here's why. What people don't realize about health is this. Health is a frequency, okay? Health is a frequency. Let me make that really plain. If you get in your car, there's several different radio stations that you can tune into. If you're sitting at home and you're on YouTube, there's several different channels that you can tune into, okay? If you're watching Netflix, there's several different programmings that you can tune into. All of them are a different frequency, okay? And based on what you tune into is what you receive. Okay, whatever you press the button, that's what you're going to receive. Okay, and so that's why I want to make this whole conversation about related to health. Health is a frequency, sickness is a frequency. Okay, herbs and food, as I'm here on my farm, is a frequency. Drugs are a frequency. Okay, real food is a frequency. All right. Ultra processed food is a frequency, all right? In life, you have a choice. It is your choice, your free will. But whatever you choose to tap into, that is going to be your frequency, all right? If you choose to tap into ultra processed food, fast foods, then that's the frequency you're going to be on, okay? If you choose to tap into living food, okay, then that's the frequency you're going to be on. Now, here's the caveat. There's no judgment for what choice you make in life. However, there are consequences, whether they be positive or negative, you still get consequences for the choices that you make. And the difference between the frequencies is one is high vibrational and one's going to be either neutralizing or low vibrational. Okay, now we were sent here as spiritual beings to have a human experience, and that spirit part of us, that is the high vibrational part of us. Okay, All right, so that's the high vibrational part of us that we tap into, that divine part of us, okay? Based on our human experience, we change that frequency, all right? And the farther away we get away from our divine default selves that we came here to have a human experience inside of a human body, the farther away we get away from that, the farther away we get away from ourselves. So it's really important for people to understand that when you choose a frequency, again, no judgment. When you choose a frequency, you're choosing what comes behind that frequency. I'll give you for instance. When it comes to health, health is a frequency, all right? On the spectrum or frequency of health also lies divine food, also lies healthy thinking, also lies healthy relationships, okay? Also lies nature, okay? These are the things that are on the same vibrational frequency as health, okay? When you go over to sickness, those things are not there. Over here on sickness is negative thinking, okay? It's sabotage, self-sabotage, okay? On the side of sickness is also ultra-processed foods. On the side of sickness is stress, anxiety. These are totally different frequencies. Okay, so again, when you choose to tap into stress, you're choosing to tap into the vibration of sickness as well too. When you choose to tap into peace and meditate, then you're choosing the vibrational frequency of health and healing. And so it's so important for us to know and to understand we can create this vibration. We can create our vibe, right? We know that we could do that in a social setting. We can create our own vibe. However, you can create that in your actual life, okay? So the same thing with poverty. Poverty is a vibration, okay? Some of us, like myself, I was born in poverty, okay? Now, just because I was born in poverty does not make me impoverished, okay? All right, so I can be born in an impoverished environment, but if I don't think impoverished, okay, if I don't do things that poverty would lead me to do, okay, if I don't feel impoverished, I won't be impoverished, okay? And the reason why I want to give you that example is because sometimes we believe that when we have family members and we look around our family and the whole entire family is riddled with diabetes, riddled with hypertension, riddled with cancer, we're under the impression because this is my environment, because this is my DNA, this has to be my vibration. But that is not true. That is not true. And I'm a living example of that. Like, I'm a living example of there was nothing in my environment that told me I should become a doctor, okay? There was nothing in my environment that's told me that I should travel the world. There was nothing in my environment that told me that I was godly, okay? Now, I went to church, but there was never a moment where I felt like I was godly. I felt like I was worshiping and praising God, but I never felt like I was godly. I never felt like I had God within me. So there was nothing in my environment that led me to believe that I can have the life that I have today, where I could wake up, go out on my farm. I can share with people who I don't know from different countries, different states, different backgrounds, different settings, different mind states. I can share with them and they can resonate with me. Nothing told me that that could exist. However, despite my environment, my thinking was different. Okay, and because my thinking was different, my doing was different. And because my thinking and my doing was different, I felt different, okay? I always felt like there was a purpose for me. And because I felt like there was a purpose for me, I was always in search of that purpose. I was always praying for God to lead me to that purpose, okay? And then that in and of itself is a vibration. The search for purpose, the seeking of God, the thinking that God is going to even listen to me. That's a vibration as well too. So it's so important for us to know and understand health is a frequency, okay? And wherever you're at in your health or in your sickness, to empower yourself, you have to own it. And what that means is you have to own the fact that I created this health, I created this sickness. Because if you don't own it, it means that you believe that something outside of you created this condition. And if something outside of you created it, it's very difficult for you to believe that it can be healed, okay? And the reason why that's so important is because it's gonna be very difficult for you to change your ways. Change how you eat, change how you think, change the company you keep, okay? Throw the food away in your refrigerator. To be something different, you have to do something different. And most people aren't willing to do something different. Most people aren't willing to think different. Most people aren't willing to believe different. They're so stuck in their ways. But this is why they get stuck in that vibration. So it doesn't matter if the sickness changes. You're still stuck in sickness. And this quite often is what happens to a lot of people. See, every condition is a vibration, okay? Let me give you advances. Constipation is a vibration. It's the vibration of stuckness. It's the vibration of not willing to let go, okay? Hypertension, cardiovascular disease is a vibration, okay? Having tumors in your body, that's a vibration as well too, okay? Healing is a vibration. Happiness is a vibration. To be in joy is a vibration. So what I want to give you before I get out of here to help you understand how you can create your vibe and change your vibration to a healthier vibration. One, you first must change how you think. 87% of people's self-talk, the conversations that they're having with their self, 87% is negative. And if you did an evaluation, for most people, this is true if they have not consciously did the work and then consciously started to evaluate that voice inside of themselves. For most people, that conversation is going to be negative, okay? So you have to redirect, rebuttal, and change that conversation. So when you say, I want to be healthy, you can't say I want to be healthy. I'm gonna tell you why. When you say I want to be healthy, it means that you're saying it from the standpoint as if you don't have it, which is saying it from the point of poverty. All right, you're saying it from the standpoint, I don't have it, I can't create it. You're saying I don't have it, okay? Don't say I want to be healthy. Say I am healthy. I create health, okay? So the first thing is you gotta change how you think. You gotta change the voice inside of you. And as soon as you say, I am healthy, a voice is gonna come and say, you're a liar. I can look at your blood glucose right now. It's high, you got diabetes. You have to change that voice, okay? I'm gonna tell you why. Because if that's the predominant voice that echoes every time you push towards health, that's the same voice that's gonna push you to eat the things that increase your blood sugar. Okay, so you gotta change the narrative that is inside of your mind. You gotta reprogram yourself, okay, for health. And it can't come from a place of poverty. It has to come from a place of abundance, which means that you already have it. And the truth is, everything you need to know, everything you need to have, you already have it. It is true. I came from a place of poverty. There's nothing that was dealt in my cards that said I should have and be who I am today, all right? Which means that I already had everything that I needed. The family that I had that was also impoverished, they were all I needed, okay? Everything, I already had it. So the first thing, you gotta change your thoughts, okay? The next thing is you gotta change what you speak, okay? That's so important too, because again, like I told you before, if you speak from a place of poverty, if you entertain conversations with people who don't believe what you believe, you're gonna be shooken off your path, you're gonna be thrown on another vibration, okay? The third thing You must feel different. This is most important. You can't just think different, speak different, but still feel the impoverished way that you felt before, still feel sick, okay? Now, you can still have aches in your body. That's the reality of the situation because that's the vibration that you're currently on. But you can say, this pain is weakness leaving my body. This pain is sickness leaving my body. You understand what I'm saying? And when you say that, you can start to feel, you can start to imagine, you can start to put yourself in a place of what it would feel like to be healthy again. What do we feel like to be healthy mentally, physically, spiritually again? All right, so you have to change how you feel. You gotta wake up and say, I'm blessed. I'm thankful for this air that I'm breathing. I'm thankful for another opportunity. I'm thankful for God giving me the opportunity to gain my health all back again in 100%. I'm not just wanting health, I'm gaining health in this moment, okay? So you gotta feel different, all right? What would it feel like to be your 100% healthy self? What would you look like, okay? What would it feel like? That's the state of mind you have to be in. And then the last thing is, you gotta change what you plug into, okay? Too many of us are plugging into things that keep us on the vibration that we're on, that we don't want to be on. Again, it's not enough to say, I don't want to be sick. It's not enough, okay? A lot of people will say, well, I never said I wanted to be sick, so how did I get sick? You didn't have to say it. You thought it, you acted on it, your actions showed it, you felt sick, and all of those things created the vibration for you to be sick, okay? All right, so if your actions lead to sickness, meaning you're choosing things that are low vibrational, then they're gonna lower your high vibrational state. If you think low vibrational, then it doesn't matter how positive you are, you're gonna be low vibrational. So you have to watch what you're plugging into. Some of you need to disconnect from certain people because you have trauma bonds and you're trauma bonding with this person who is making the same choices. So this person is confirming your beliefs to make you feel okay with staying stuck, okay? Some of you need to break those trauma bonds. Some of us need to break our addictions to food, okay? Some of us need to stop not loving ourselves. Some of us need to fall in love with ourselves, okay? But we need to figure out what is it we're plugging into that's creating our vibration as well too. Is it music? That's one of the things that I had to stop doing. I would listen to all the music that I listen to now, except when I worked out. When I worked out, I would listen to like trap music. I would listen to like hardcore rap, you know, Future, people like that. And I'll tell you, that is programming. That is programming. When a song says Percocets, Molly Percocets, okay, that's a chant. That is a chant. I mean, you may call it a hook, but that is essentially a chant. And when you're hearing this chant over and over and over and over and over, and after the chant comes the spell, the lyrics, you're going to be programmed by that. So some of us need to change our music, okay? Some of us need to change our environment. Stop going to places where they have no healthy food. Stop shopping at places that don't have healthy food. Stop putting things in your cart that will not contribute to your well-being, okay? What are you plugging into, okay? And I always ask people this because at the end of the day, if you're not plugging into things divine, when I look around me here on the farm, everything here is divine. Everything is grown without pesticides, herbicides, insecticides, straight from a seed, everything seasonal. Is this life around me, okay? If I'm in this kind of environment, it's gonna change how I think. It's gonna change how I feel. It's gonna change ultimately what I do. So change your environment. You may need to stop working out at the gym and start working out at the park. Start plugging into nature a little bit more, all right? So I know that this has been like a really different video, but I think that bar none, this is probably one of the most important videos, because at the end of the day, I see so many people start their health journey, then they quit, they stop. And the reason why is because of this. They don't realize that health is a actual frequency, okay? And they don't realize how they're contributing to their frequency. And they're not contributing, they're not making deposits into health, they're making deposits into sickness every day, okay? They're making deposits into heartbreak every day. They're making deposits into poverty every day. They just don't realize that. And so this is something that not only can change your health, but this is something that literally can change your life, okay? Please share this video, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button if you already haven't, hit the like button if this resonated with you. This is the kind of information that as we go into 2025 and start to move forward, the world is shifting. It's not the same anymore. You'll notice that time is faster. It's the same number of days, the same number of minutes in an hour, same number of days in a week, same number of days in a year, in a month, but time is moving faster. You don't have the time that you used to have before, all right? Things are shifting. This is why it's so important for us to realize that health is our highest form of wealth. Without it, nothing is possible. Nothing is valuable without health. With it, anything is. Health is our highest form of wealth. So please share the video, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video. Until the next time, raise your vibration with everything you do, you think, you speak, you feel, and you plug into. Until the next time, peace and blessings, and Godspeed.